Hey TYT, this is Nomiki. I am here in Atlanta, the first day of the DNC race meeting. They have this winter meeting, annual meeting, where obviously the votes for all the leaders of the Democratic Party are going to be cast this weekend. This is probably the most contentious race in the history of the modern day Democratic Party. The last time there was a race that was contested, it was in 2005 when Howard Dean won the DNC chair race, and he instituted the 50-state strategy, which later went by the wayside when OFA came in under President Obama. So I have a lot of updates for you. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. There's a lot going on, okay? So in the last 2 days, you've had two DNC candidates, or 3 days I should say, two DNC candidates drop out of the race and endorse other candidates. First, there was New Hampshire chairman of the Democratic Party, Ray Buckley, who we've interviewed multiple times. Ray Buckley decided to endorse Keith Ellison, and I have seen him out there working the rooms downstairs in the lobby, talking to DNC members about the future of the race. The other person, this just dropped today, is the chairman of the South Carolina Democratic Party, Jamie Harrison. That is also somebody we have interviewed we've had a lot of conversations with him about the future of the Democratic Party. He has endorsed Secretary Tom Perez in this race. Now, I'm going to focus on one issue right now because there's a lot of maneuvering around the race, which we will discuss, but I'm going to talk about that with you tomorrow as the votes are getting tighter. There have been some surveys done. The Associated Press continues to publish what they believe is accurate numbers based on sources that I believe came out of Tom Perez's campaign. That's what pretty much everybody's saying, and I believe. About a number in which Tom Perez says he has 180 votes. That was published a few weeks ago, and with the Jamie Harrison endorsement, I think that would make it look like he has all of Jamie's votes, but I've already called a few of those members, and some of them are already saying they're supporting Keith Ellison. So this race is really tight. There are about 450 members, and half of the members, the DNC chair has to win over half of the members, 225 members, to win on the first ballot. If they don't win on the first ballot, it's going to go to the second ballot. And then the lowest vote getters will be dropped off of that ballot for the third ballot. So this will possibly be a floor fight if the numbers are really close. Now, what I want to pay attention to at this point in the race is the money. I've told you guys this over and over. This is not a race between the progressives and the establishment or the Bernie wing and the Hillary wing. It is not. DNC members, for the most part, are leaders in their state parties, have been involved in the Democratic Party for a long time, but they have been furious over the lack of resource allocation to their state parties so that they can run effective campaigns, recruit people to run for office, and organize against Republicans. That is how the Democrats lost over 1,000 seats in 8 years. That is also the same debate that took place in 2005 when Howard Dean was running for DNC chair. They are opposed to sucking up the resources to go to contracts for consultants. And what that means is that the DNC allocates a bunch of contracts. Obviously, they have to have consultants working for them, but there are some large contracts with consultants with the DNC over the past 8 years that the numbers are shocking. We are talking about over $1 billion has been allocated to consultants between the DNC and Hillary Clinton's campaign, HFA, from January of 2015 on. That's just the past 2 years. Over the past 8 years, the majority of the budget has gone to major ad buys, has gone to polling and research, and some field work here or there in presidential races, and OFA, of course. Now, what does that mean? This is what that means. I've done some digging. I told you I'd have something for you. I'm going to be publishing something tomorrow with more specific numbers, but this is what it means. Pete Buttigieg is still in the race. I don't want to discount him. There's still a few other people in the race. I don't want to discount them. But for the sake of where we are in this race between Keith Ellison, Congressman Ellison, and Secretary Tom Perez, I have to be very clear. When I interviewed Secretary Tom Perez and Keith Ellison about conflicts of interest, one, Secretary Perez did not say that he was against having conflicts of interest in the party. This is a man who's a lawyer. When you're a lawyer, conflicts of interest should be alarming. Isn't that what you're taught in law school? He's a civil rights attorney. When I asked him about conflicts of interest, he deflected, and started talking about having a wide tent party with lots of different opinions. Now, I have had over a dozen DNC members tell me over the last few weeks that they have been receiving phone calls from somebody who has a large contract with the DNC on behalf of Tom Perez. Those phone calls seem to have stopped over the past couple of weeks since possibly my interview with Tom Perez, and that is Jennifer O'Malley Dillon. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon is a partner, a founder of Precision Strategies, receives millions of dollars from the DNC and the last presidential race. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon is the co-chair of the new Rules Committee, which came out of the Rules Committee, it's called the Unity Commission, came out of the Rules Committee at the DNC, the convention. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon, multiple members have told me, she's been calling members on behalf of Tom Perez. Now, if you recall, when I asked Tom Perez about this, he pulled away from the conversation, and he said, the Unity Commission will have a diverse group of voices. How is it that the person co-chairing the Unity Commission that sets the rules for the Democratic Party has one of the largest contracts with the DNC? Oh no, it doesn't stop here. All right, so I was reading this Hill article that came out yesterday where they were talking about saying that Ellison holds an edge in the DNC race survey that they have conducted. And there was a quote from somebody who I've gotten to know from the primary, who I think many of you might know as well, just from our debates. And I lost the quote, of course. And that quote was from Maria Cardona. Maria Cardona is in a leadership position, and she is actually a DNC member. Oh wait, it was not from the Hill, it was from the Politico piece. There's two different pieces, I'm so sorry. Maria Cardona has pledged her support for Secretary Perez. She says, this is what she says. They believed this was always going to go to Atlanta, meaning the Perez campaign, that he didn't have it locked up in the first rounds by any means, Cardona said of Perez's campaign. Now, Cardona has also pledged support of Secretary Perez. Cardona also is a partner with Dewey Square, which was handling the super PAC, had a contract with the super PAC for Hillary for America. She is in a leadership position at the DNC, and she's a DNC member. Now, the percentage of members in the DNC that have contracts with the DNC is not extraordinarily high, but it is enough to make a difference when it's 450 or so members deciding the election of the DNC, which is effectively a debate between allocating resources to state parties to organize, or keep the contracts with these national contractors at the DNC, keeping the DNC central. So I'm talking, when I say it's a lot of money, it's a lot of money. Perkins Coie, which is a law firm, made over $10 million from the DNC and HFA, Hillary for America, in 2 years. That's not that much, actually. And they're a law firm. They were handling compliance. And they separated their duties. They had two people from different members of their staff go and work for different sides. So that's not that bad. Precision made a lot of money. Made a lot of money in 2 years from the DNC. Joel Benenson, the pollster, made over $8 million between the DNC and Hillary for America simultaneously, the crossover. GMMB, hundreds of millions of dollars, $370 million just from ad buys alone in 2 years. That is a company that buys ads and places ads. There's over $47 million from research and media firms that have overlapped between the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC. Why does this matter? Why does it matter? Because the state organizers are complaining that money is not going to their states, and that if they're going to win back the seats, they need to have the money going to the states to organize. Now, every candidate has talked about organizing and putting money back to the states and having a 50-state strategy. But if one candidate is being backed, has had fundraisers from the consultants that have contracts with the DNC, that's Tom Perez, if Tom Perez has had those who have contracts with the DNC make phone calls on his behalf, that's concerning. And if Tom Perez does not want to ban conflicts of interest, that should be alarming. So I hope that DNC members listen to this. I have been following the money throughout this race. We're going to post some more detailed numbers in my article that's going to come out tomorrow. I'm working with some people who are very good at researching this stuff. But bottom line here is the race has always been about how to organize, how to bring back that 50-state strategy. And a lot of DNC members are frustrated that they don't have the resources to do so. But they may not know that one of the candidates is being backed and supported and controlled by consultants who have major contracts with the DNC. My beat has always been conflicts of interests. Always. It's always been that way. Unions are not getting media buy contracts. Unions are the ones organizing on the ground. And the majority of unions, not all of them, but the majority of unions have supported Keith Ellison, except for a couple that came out and supported Perez, who was labor secretary. The consultants, it is a battle between organizers and national consultants, a centralized DNC and state parties. That's what this battle is about. It is not just Hillary versus Bernie. That was sort of this, where the meteor decided to hit the DNC. This has been going on for 10 years, more than 10 years, but it got outrageous in the last 10 years with OFA and these contracts going out. To keep these contracts with the DNC, these handful of consultants are willing to keep Donald Trump in the White House, put the future of so many millions of Americans at risk. And arguably, it's a constitutional crisis. So is $1 billion worth of contracts with consultants that lost elections over the past 10 years, and not only are there consultants who are eating up a lot of money, but they're bad at their jobs. Is that worth losing over 1,000 seats or whatever remaining seats Democrats have and whatever remaining rights we citizens have? I don't think so. If you guys know any DNC members, I urge you to share this with them. I think this is really valuable information. The vote is 2 days away. And we're here in Atlanta. I'm in my hotel room, as you can see, the only place I could get some quiet time and obviously talk about this. Thank you all. I'm Nomiki with TYT Politics. I will be posting stuff on a lot of live feeds on Facebook and here on YouTube as well. So try to check us out in both places. Follow me on Twitter at Nomiki Konst, NOMIKI KONST. I will be posting updates as we learn them. Thanks.